What is up, gamers? It's your boy LegLessLarry back here again, and today we're talking about something super duper crazily, amazingly awesome, and that is, I have just got done watching the newest installment of the Spider-Man trilogy from the Tom Holland series. So in light of that, in light of seeing this new movie, I've decided I'm going to review all of the Spider-Mans that have been made, starting with the man, the myth, the legend, Tobey Maguire, okay? He is the pinnacle of what a superhero should be. His first two movies are just chef's kiss, okay? The third one, we'll get into it, but we're going to start off today with the first movie, and without further ado, let's just get right into it, gamers.
If somebody told you I was just your average, ordinary guy, somebody lied.
Starting off this movie, we have our main character, Peter Parker. Now, Peter Parker is kind of a nerd, an outcast. He gets bullied at school by people like Flash. Peter, he's kind of an introvert. He is a photographer, and he's just a social outcast. Not everyone understands or likes him or really even knows who he is, and if they do, they just make fun of him. He's just that guy. So his school ends up going on this field trip, and this field trip is to Oscorp. Oscorp is a company owned by Norman Osborn, and his son, Harry Osborn, is actually best friends with Peter Parker. And so they go on this field trip, and Peter starts taking photos of MJ, like stalker style, real cool, and then he gets bit by a spider. And this spider has special powers, as we see on a little TV behind them. Peter's going to go through a big change, and it's going to be good, we think. So after this big change, he starts to realize he has some abilities that he didn't know he had. Just like he can shoot webs out of his hands now, which in comic accurate Spider-Man, he made web shooters like in the next two installments of Spider-Man. As series-wise, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man made web shooters, and so did Tom Holland's. Tobey's the one of the only Spider-Men who can actually shoot webs out of his hands or wrists. It's interesting. So he tries to swing off some buildings, fly up and away web. Like, he tries to figure out how to use these powers. And then he figures that MJ just likes Flash, her boyfriend, one of the main people who bullies Tobey. They got in a little fight earlier. He figures one of the only reasons that, she even likes this dude is because he got a sweet ride. So Tobey's like, I've been riding a bike, I'm gonna get me a sweet ride. So he's trying to get the sweet ride. It's $3,000, and then he finds this wrestling competition also for $3,000. So that's great. He's like, this works out awesome, but I can't tell my aunt and uncle, because he lives with his aunt and uncle because he is an orphan. His parents are gone, they're out of the picture. Tobey's series doesn't really tell you what happened with them, and that's fine. They don't need to. So he lives with Aunt May and Uncle Ben. And so he tells Uncle Ben that he needs to go to the library to study for some stuff. And then Uncle Ben gives him this spiel because, he thinks that Tobey needs some help right now in his life. He's being a little, reckless at school, getting into fights, all this, And then Tobey's like, screw you, old man. I hope you freaking die and stuff. Get out my face. And so then he hops on over, becomes a human spider for a hot sec. This guy tries to cheat him out of his money, so he pops that dude. Too easy breezy. And then Uncle Ben straight up dies. Just gone forever. And so then Tobey's all sad, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna become this Spider-Man guy now, because that's who I is. So he makes this dope suit, the most iconic suit out of all the Spider-Men, in my opinion. Every time I think of Spider-Man, I think of that suit. I even like that suit more than, the actual comic book suits. That is the suit. That is the pinnacle of what Spider-Man should look like, in my opinion. At least that's the version I like most. But, so, he becomes Spider-Man. Norman Osborn's company, Oscorp, has been developing weapons for the military, like gliders, the super soldier serum of sorts, and the military is threatening to defund him if he can't get the human trials going, because right now they're still on rats. and different animals like that. And so he's like, you know what, fine, I'll do it myself, straight Thanos style. It goes awfully wrong. He ends up killing his lab partner, and then he gets kicked out of his own company. He's not happy with that because he built the company himself. It literally has his name on the side of the building. And so then he murders all of his staff, becomes the Green Goblin, and then him and Spider-Man duke it out. Norman Osborn ends up killing himself with his own board, trying to kill Spider-Man after he realizes Spider-Man is Peter. And his last words were, "Don't tell Harry," which is his son, because he didn't want his son to know he was a monster. So Spider-Man did not. He returned the body back to the house, and then he left. Harry goes on to think that Spider-Man murdered his dad, and that's the first movie. So what I think about this movie is it is a very excellent movie. The first movie is completely about responsibility and being able to account for your own actions, right? And how that will affect others around you and what that will take from you to make that tough choice. Because even in the end of the movie, MJ wants Peter, and he tells her no, because that's not what he can do. He's got other responsibilities, and it's not the time. And so, yeah, it's a very well made movie. Now, on the tier list, I'd put Home Alone at an A tier along with this Spider-Man movie. They're fantastic. I've actually decided I want to move Camp Rock down to an F tier because I've had a realization on how I want to start doing this tier list. So, yeah. And spoiler alert, the second one. Alright. But yes, that is Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire first movie. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any recommendations or video ideas for me, let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe, and comment for your chance to get in the giveaway I'm going to be doing. And peace to the broskies. Just see those sleigh bells jingling, ring, ting-a-ting-a-ling.